Hi, welcome back to the channel. Etepokuyan of the Place to Be Reviews, right here with all of yous. Today, we've got a pair of articles talking about more stuff in the High Republic. I know, right? You're like, Jesus, stop with the High Republic videos. But as far as Star Wars content goes right now, this is as relevant as it gets, and this affects the overall story that we're going to receive on the other end, because you know there's still that
thing going on inside Lucasfilm.
Oh, they're not bumping uglies, they're just kind of butting heads, the two sides, so...
You know, we're getting the High Republic over here, and then we're getting the good stuff from Favreau and Filoni over here. So let's dive into these articles, check it out, let me know what you think. Monkeys, roll the footage.
The end is nigh, the end is nigh, f***ing run away, the end is nigh.
Bounding into comics for this double-header video today. 2 High Republic topics, 1 great video. More bang for your buck than anywhere else. Right here, the Fandom Menace People's Champ, Etepokuyan. I'm done.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Star Wars: The High Republic appears to approve of one-night stands for Jedi. George Lucas has some thoughts about that.
Anakin's like, what's up, Padme? Let me get into them guts, ma.
The latest entry in Lucasfilm Star Wars: The High Republic publishing initiative is Claudia Gray's Into the Dark novel, which appears to approve of the Jedi having one-night stands, or at the very least, participating in casual sex.
I mean, can a Jedi get some? I mean, I don't see what the problem is with the Jedi getting some.
An excerpt from the novel reveals a conversation between Jedi Padawan Reath Silas, the Bin Guild member Affie Hollow. This conversation between the two begins with Affie asking Reath about the Jedi. She says,
So, okay, tell me what the Jedi are in 2 sentences or less. She responds, everybody knows about the Force, come on.
With this information, he then begins to describe the Jedi.
So the Jedi are Force users, united in our quest to understand the mysteries of the Force and serve as guardians of peace and justice throughout the galaxy.
Affie responds.
I've heard of Force users before, but why does that make you monk?
Reath responds.
I still have 1 sentence to go. We ground ourselves in spiritual existence and give up individual attachments in order to focus entirely on greater concerns.
Affie then says,
So that means no sex.
follow this. Reath ponders to himself. Should he give her Master Jorah's whole speech about the difference between celibacy of the body and true purity of the heart? It was a very long speech. Reath decided to skip it. He then responds with Affie saying,
Basically,
Affie concluded.
Definitely monks.
The conversation would continue when Leox Gyasi was told about the Jedi. Gyasi stated,
Now see, that I just don't get. How are you supposed to prove love to the galaxy at large if you don't know how to love any one individual person?
Affie would respond.
You don't have to have sex with someone to love them. You should know that if anyone does.
Gyasi then said,
Indeed I do, but other beings seem to value copulation as a form of bonding.
The implication of Reath's thoughts about Master Jorah's speech indicate that the Jedi approve of casual sex as long as they don't form an attachment. Fortunately, Star Wars and George Lucas has addressed much of this before the High Republic was ever conceived. In Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Padme Amidala is being escorted back to Naboo by Anakin Skywalker when she asks him, are you allowed to love? I thought that was forbidden for a Jedi. Anakin responds, attachment is forbidden. Possession is forbidden. Compassion, which I would define as unconditional love, is essential to a Jedi's life. So you might say that we are encouraged to love. By the end of Attack of the Clones, Padme and Anakin would get married, although they would keep it a secret from the Jedi Council and their closest friends, such as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Back in August 2010, Lucas would also address the Jedi and their sexual proclivities. At around the 40-minute mark of the video below, Lucas was asked about the Jedi by James Stewart. Stewart asked, is the idea of a Jedi as kind of a priest, but they can channel the Force through them? They can actually utilize it. Lucas responds, it's the monk idea. Whether you go to the Christian monk, the Knights Templar, or the Buddhist monks, Kung Fu monks, you get a warrior monk. And the idea with Star Wars is that the monks really aren't warriors. They're negotiators. They are just the mafia. He continued, as Teddy Roosevelt would say, they negotiate disputes between planets, between things. They aren't like a policeman or anything, but they negotiate with a big stick, with a big lightsaber. So if you don't sort of come to a conclusion with your dispute with each other, they will settle it for you. Stewart then asked, was there any reason they couldn't get married? Was that the emotion of it, or the idea that they love something? Lucas responded, the whole idea of the movie ultimately is that you have the light side and the dark side. The light side is compassion, which means you care about people. The dark side is that you only care about yourself, and you are obsessed with yourself, getting your pleasure and getting all your stuff. The other one, you give it to everybody. You give goodness and health to everybody else. So the issue of love, there's a line between loving somebody compassionately and caring about them and helping them. But the other line is not to be greedy, or once you are greedy, then you get fearful. You don't want to lose what it is you have that you are getting. So you have to learn to give up everything. And ultimately for a Jedi Knight, it's very easy to give up, Lucas elaborated. He continued, one of the things they give up is marriage. They can still love people, but they can't possess them. They can't own them. They can't demand that they do things. They have to be able to accept that, one, their mortality, that they are going to die and not worry about it. That the loved ones they have, everything they love is going to die and they can't do anything about it. Lucas detailed, I mean, they can protect them as you would an ordinary protect, get out of the way of that car kind of thing. Somebody charged you with a gun, you knock the gun out, but there's an inevitability to life, which is death, and you have to accept that. And this is a mythological idea that goes back to Hades, where once you get power, it corrupts you. So if you say Anakin, he fell in love with Padme, then he became possessive of her, he got jealous and all of those things, then when he found out that she was going to die, he would do anything to stop that from happening, even to the point of making a pact with the devil to say, give me the power to save my wife and I'll do your bidding. Lucas continued to describe Anakin's downfall. Well, he got the power to save his wife, but in the process, he became powerful, and the key to it, he said, okay, I can save you from dying. I can even rule the universe. Everybody who gets power wants to run the universe. They all want to be the emperor. He then detailed that's the reason why there are only 2 Sith. That's why there's only 2 Sith. There used to be a lot of them, but they all killed each other off because they were all fighting over who got to rule. So it was always one Sith Lord and one apprentice. And when the apprentice was always plotting to get somebody else to join him. Hey, you and me get together and we'll kill the Emperor. So they are always doing that. Lucas added, so when Anakin said, well, I'm powerful now, I'm even more powerful than Palpatine. I can take over the universe and it will be the way that I want it to be. And of course, Padme says, my God, you're not the person I fell in love with. I don't love you anymore, and he lost everything. As Anakin interprets in Attack of the Clones, compassionate and unconditional love is essential to a Jedi. Thus, in theory, a marriage could make a Jedi stronger as it nurtures their compassionate and unconditional love for their spouse and their family. In fact, it's possible that Anakin's resentment of the Jedi way of life was fostered by their ban on marriage, which he saw as opposed to their actual teachings. The Jedi Love article was a little bit longer than I expected, but this is going to be a longer form video, so what do you know? I just feel like the Jedi should have been able to, hook up. Love, it really would go more in line with the teachings of the Jedi. I do kind of have to agree on this. George's point is explained in a way that, so I kind of just cut it off, included the pertinent parts. I look at it like this. If loving and being able to love made the Jedi more well-adjusted and help them fulfill their requirements to be a Jedi more, I don't see any problem with it. I never really did. I always thought, I thought it was kind of strange, and I do understand the reasoning. It made them, like Anakin, in Anakin's case, it made him resent that which he represented. So it didn't really further or help the Jedi at all. It more repressed a lot of emotions that could have helped them in problem solving and things, I think, in the way they live their lives as well. But that's just me. We're going to jump into this next article. So here we are, screenrant.com. I didn't want to do another High Republic video, but Star Wars is starting to condemn the paradox of Jedi violence. We knew this was going to happen with the High Republic. They want this to outshine the Jedi that we have come to know and love. And that's the problem, is they're developing hollow shell cardboard cutout characters, much like the ones that were sitting in the fans at the Super Bowl on Sunday, coupled with a narrative they want to push which contradicts the fun side of Star Wars that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are currently running with The Mandalorian and projects of the like. So let's see what we've got here. Star Wars The High Republic era is revealing what the Jedi were always supposed to be, keepers of the peace, not soldiers and generals they became. Star Wars is starting to condemn the paradoxical nature of Jedi violence in its new High Republic era. In the new, you have to be high to enjoy this Republic. and the second issue of the series from Marvel Comics really hammers this point home in a pretty significant way. The High Republic was an era of peace and prosperity in the galaxy, unlike the days of the prequel trilogy or the Skywalker saga. Not only was the Republic more unified and less corrupt, but the Jedi Order itself was brighter and nobler, not yet having been compromised by the events of the Clone Wars. Well, of course the Jedi would be brighter and more noble then, because that's what Disney wants you to believe. In Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Jedi Master Mace Windu warned Chancellor Palpatine that if the Republic were to break apart with the rise of the Separatists and the threats of war, there wouldn't be enough Jedi to protect the Republic. He also reminded him that the Jedi are, quote, keepers of the peace, not soldiers. However, the Separatist creation of massive droid armies forced the Jedi to act. Not only that, but the surprise creation of a clone army for the Republic put the Jedi in a position where they found themselves compromised, being commanders and generals in the full-scale galactic war known as the Clone Wars. This ultimately led to violent campaigns and battles that further corrupted the Jedi Order, with each new conflict ultimately leading to their extinction, as was the intent of Chancellor Palpatine all along. Secretly, Darth Sidious. While the Jedi did their duty as heroes in service to the Republic, the paradoxical nature of their new roles still persisted. How can a Jedi seek peace and nonviolence when they've been given a regiment of troops and are called to ignite their lightsabers proactively against Separatist-occupied worlds, rather than for protection and defense? Furthermore, in their growing concern and desperation to end the conflict, the Jedi Council made more and more decisions that were morally questionable, engaging in secrecy, operations of deception, and even assassination attempts to kill Separatist leaders such as Count Dooku, who is one of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars. I love Count Dooku. And it has, I'm not going to lie, it has a lot to do with Christopher Lee's portrayal of him on screen. His lightsaber, and was it the Makashi form? It was so classy and just elegant, and it suited Christopher Lee so well. This is in direct contrast to the High Republic era, nearly 200 years beforehand. This new time period reveals how the Jedi used to operate and should never have deviated from. A good example can be seen when Jedi Master Skier is seen holding little value towards the Nihil Marauder that attacked him in Star Wars The High Republic #2. As a result, he is quickly reprimanded by Jedi Master Avar Kriss, the Marshal of the Starlight Beacon. Of course, he is verbally reprimanded by her because man bad, woman good. Remember that.
We must contact the Starlight. And there are no survivors? None. The Nihil was left for dead, abandoned by his comrades. These animals have no honor. Master Skier, we must never demonize our enemies, no matter what atrocities they have committed in the past. They are still living beings.
Yeah, no, he tried to kill you. You kill him. In the High Republic, the Jedi Order still holds to the core tenets that all life in the galaxy is connected within the Force, and thus should be held sacred and with respect. Likewise, a Jedi's lightsaber should only ever be drawn as a last resort, used for defense and rarely for attack unless absolutely necessary, such as to protect innocents from harm. Additionally, the Jedi Order clearly works side by side with the High Republic, but not for them. This line of distinction definitely seems to have been blurred by the time of the prequel trilogy, and especially during the events of the Clone Wars. Had the Jedi Order of the prequel trilogy remained as pure as their predecessors in the High Republic, it seems that they would have opted out of the violent role of leading Republic's armies. As such, they might have been able to achieve new routes of diplomacy and perhaps could have avoided their own downfall and destruction due to Order 66, otherwise known as the Jedi Purge. Had they not allowed themselves to become so corrupted, it's possible that they could have pierced through the shroud of the dark side Sidious had placed over them, which had diminished their ability to use the Force. And as such, by showing the purity and nobility of the High Republic's Jedi Order, Star Wars has begun to condemn the paradoxical nature of Jedi violence in the galaxy, especially its prevalence during the Clone Wars era. Okay, before we finish this out, I have thoughts, but we're going to snap back to full screen here. Let's do this. So this whole High Republic worrying about the paradoxical nature of Jedi violence is not some grand attempt at showing the Jedi how they were supposed to be. It's a grand attempt at saying, look, George Lucas, our Jedi are better than yours because they're non-violent and they care about diversity and dinosaurs. need I show the screen? This is the whiteboard from the writer's room from the High Republic. This is what these people care about. And I'm sure you've all seen it before, but this is why this is not a good thing for Star Wars. These people don't care about Star Wars. They don't care about you. They want a fictional audience that doesn't exist to buy their horrible product that they don't even care about, but they want their narrative out there, so that's why they shove it into the pre-existing IP of Star Wars and ruin it for everybody. That's the problem. That's the crux of the issue here. That is what's wrong with this whole, well, the paradoxical nature of Jedi violence is bad, and we're going to show you why. It's just ridiculous. You have this fictional world. They're in a wartime thing. This is what the Jedi... And to think that the Jedi could have remained out of the fight of the New Republic during the Clone Wars if they'd only maintained their purity and nobility...
You serious?
It's impossible for a force like the Jedi, who are so invested in the Republic's success. The Jedi Temple is in Coruscant, the capital of the Republic, and the home of the Senate. And you think that the Jedi can just stay out of it because they're above that? They're above the violence?
It's like, maybe if we just act like proper, we won't have to do anything.
It's like, what the hell are you even talking about? It makes no sense. And I don't think I'm missing the point here. I really think that this author is missing the point of Star Wars. There's wars right in the title to the property. It's not Star Peacetime. It's not Star Tranquility. It's Star Wars. And there's always going to be conflict because that's the crux of it. If you want to make a show about people in another galaxy living in peace, then by all means, make that, create those characters, create that world. Sell it to people who want that. Don't try to walk into something that's existed for a long, long time. Try to tell us, well, this is what you want. No, that's not what I want. I want this. I want conflict. I want war. I want betrayal. I want, all these things that Star Wars has been. Not what you're telling me Star Wars is not. What Star Wars is to me, to you, it's something else. And the something else is something that I don't want, and a lot of fans like me don't want it either. And it's not fans who have the same skin tone as me, it's Star Wars fans, because we don't care about things like that. That diversity and stuff like that you're always clamoring for, that's always been there to us. In the fan base, in the movies, in the shows, but it's always made sense why it was there. So that's why nobody ever questions it or gets mad. So when you try to tell us, well, this is new, this is diverse, this is what you want, it's like, no, you don't know what we want. You never have had an idea what we wanted as fans, because you were too busy trying to recreate what we already had, but turn it on its head, and we recognize that. So this whole argument about the Jedi needing to be nonviolent, and yeah, in an ideal world, but that's not the world that Star Wars is set in. So I don't know. I just think these authors of these articles, as well as the authors of the High Republic, are all equally clueless, and it just forms that perfect storm of just horrible writing and bad journalism that we've come to expect from places like Screen Rant. I hope you found some entertainment in this video. I really do, because I love making these for you guys. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to do all the YouTube things, and I'm your Temple Queen of the Place to Be Reviews. I've been here with all of yous, and remember, if I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow, and I'll catch you on the next one.